fuck off for a minute.
We're live.
Okay. Can you turn up?
You need to emerge from this COVID-1984 pandemic with the tools to create a new world. The New Athens, the blockchain think tank, brings you those tools to debate how a new generation will take control from the GoVidiots currently mismanaging our nation and our world, with a breakaway civilization leaving us behind. Watch our Friday Night Lights live stream from the bunker on the New Athens YouTube channel for the best that is thought and said on the issues of the day. Ask not what the New Athens can do for you. Ask what you can do for the New Athens. If you like it, leave a like. If you like the content, please subscribe and share. I'm Lorenzo Mefsud, founder of the New Athens. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.
Hello and welcome to the New Athens, live here from the bunker on this Friday, the 5th of June. We're here tonight with artist, master gilder, portraitist, art historian, philosopher, theorist of aesthetics and operatic tenor, our great friend of the New Athens and friend of the show, Ed Mirza, is here tonight. And what's been on your mind, Ed?
Plenty of projects. The release of my new album, which has come out today, called Easy Classics.
Fantastic.
So remember what it's called. Also the single I'll Give My Love an Apple, which are on iTunes and Spotify from today.
Yes.
So I brought a bottle to open.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we'll put the links to all this in the show notes and in the chat.
We could probably play it on
yes.
iTunes, one of them.
Yes, let's. Where do I find it?
iTunes.
I'm not sure we have iTunes
Spotify?
on here. Spotify, maybe. Do we have Spotify on here? Let's see. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what we are listening to.
It's just it's a first album release of Neapolitan folk songs, which are traditionally sung in an operatic style, and a cappella English folk song called "I'll Give My Love an Apple."
Oh, okay.
Well, shall countertenor.
I'll love an apple. Oh, sung as a countertenor. So you've been perfecting your falsetto.
Falsetto has always been, I've always done it since I was a child. In fact, that's what I first began doing.
Comfort Ye My People is one of our favorites.
Yeah, Alfred Della sort of popularized, gone out of fashion, and Alfred Della brought it all back.
Yes.
And then,
yes.
So I used to do that. In fact, that's how I began singing, because my mother playing Alfred Della around the house.
Oh yes, was that based from your sort of ecclesiastical history in your family? Here we go.
Loosely, probably indirectly.
So we should probably have a bit of housekeeping here. Good evening. We're here in the bunker with Mornington Media, our gracious hosts, and we have Dan Kalupski and various friends of the show around tonight. We'd like to ask you to share this stream. It's called #Delenda Est Carthago, which is named after this destruction of Carthage by ancient Rome. So after the Punic War, when Hannibal brought his elephants up over the Alps and into Italy, causing chaos there, as we're seeing chaos across the world today. Rome then turned the tables after Hannibal besieged Rome and returned to Tunisia, where Carthage now is, on that peninsula facing Italy, this great civilization, this great city-state of Carthage. And they defeated Carthage in battle, Scipio Africanus, and the upshot of that was that they were so threatened by Carthage. Carthage had so challenged Rome's dominance in the Mediterranean after it defeated ancient Greece, that they not only defeated the city, but they demolished it and salted the earth. And so bringing about this phrase delenda est Carthago. There are things in history which have been so destroyed that it's as if they've been deleted off the face of the earth, rather than simply a battle was won. And we're currently in a scenario on this planet where we're in a precarious position, and suddenly we're facing destruction from all sides, whether from disease, whether from internal destruction, whether from geopolitics. And so that's one of the things we deal with here. But it also speaks to art, it speaks to civilization, it speaks to culture, and it speaks to the architecture that we've been discussing in the past few episodes. And Ed has been very much inside this conversation in the New Athens about the smart city, education. I know Ed's written a treatise on education. He's written a novel, which we can hear some extracts from today. And I wanted to just flag for later that we've had some very interesting news on some of our New Athens projects. Here, I don't know, Oliver, I don't know which camera's on right now, if we can see. But here is the yellow star. We've got the yellow star of the body snatch. So this is come through today as a this is the yellow star we wear on ourselves when we've opted out of the Great British Body Snatch 2020, whereby on the 19th of May the government took control of everyone's organs. This is the form you need to get for your records from Blood and Transplant NHS, and it's come through. They do acknowledge that you can regain your bodily sovereignty, and Laura Archer and I were talking about that last time from when she's calling in from New York, and I believe she may be calling in to us in a few minutes. Now we've got the other thing we've got set up today. The new piece of infrastructure is Zoom. So now we have Zoom in and Zoom out, and here we go. Here's an example of the stream. So I'll put the link to the Zoom flow in the chat on the YouTube right now. So if anybody's going to call in, they're welcome to do so, and it's going in the chat right now. So there it is in the chat on the YouTube. Jaffa Cake is here with us saying salt the earth, armor virumque kano, and war it says a man a coin. Yes, one man, one coin. Every man war deserves his own coin. Are we still on?
Yeah.
So I think we may have lost some sound, but so this is like now we've got our foreign correspondents coming in. We had them last week earlier this week by WhatsApp call, and now we can have them by Zoom video, which is great. So now we have a full global presence in live stream reality. So Ed, let's listen to you have the album cover up if we find it. So what's it called? Easy Classics. And, let's see what happens when
there is I Will Give My Love an Apple.
Mirza. Here we go. Ed Mirza, Easy Classics. Here's the album, and well, let's listen to some, shall we? If I just press play, what happens?
Let your mind be bathed in the light of this beautiful song. Che bella cosa n'arionata e sola, noria serena dopo una tempesta, e l'aria fresca pareggiana pesta. Che bella cosa n'arionata e sola, mona du sole più bella in me, oh sola mia, sta in fronte a te, oh sole,
Another album coming out on in a month called Rockin' Arias.
Should we show us both?
Except for that, but that's not up yet.
Boom.
Services.
There we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, to you, Ed, and to your new outlets. We're now on Spotify, and we will be going to Spotify very soon, I think, Oliver, when Joe Rogan gets on stream with the video version of Spotify on September the 1st. Spotify, as I understand it, are building a video platform, so specifically for the Joe Rogan experience, which is going there with that $100 million deal, which we're so excited about in terms of free speech on the internet and the ability to leave YouTube behind with its use of censorship. Well, cheers, Ed.
Cheers.
Cheers, Oliver.
Cheers, Oliver.
So we had a few tech hiccups today, but I think we're back on stream. Laura is here. We can hear from our New York correspondent. Let's see how this works. And it's just got a crescendo. Laura asks, hello, you washed your hair.
What?
Yeah.
I did wash my hair. Can you tell?
How is it?
I washed my hair. I even put on some lipstick.
Oh, fantastic. How are you? Ed, this is Laura. Oh, you can see. Here we go.
Just
Fantastic. Well, this is the Hamptons then, in the daytime.
It says the Hamptons in the daytime, but
so
shall I put
cheers.
some more lights?
No. This is
light
great. You look wonderful. You look wonderful, like the Springbok you always meant to be. Well, yeah, Ed's just released his new album. I don't know if you saw Ed on the show. Here's Ed on the stream. Have you got the stream on a computer or something? The YouTube. Laura.
No.
Oh, okay.
I just put on the suit.
Oh,
Do you
great.
want me to put it up?
No, I mean,
You
not
can call me
necessarily.
back, the sound
Yeah,
is
that can be an issue. So yes, so Laura reported back earlier this week by WhatsApp call, and now we have a beautiful live, in-person, teleconferencing in from another continent, and so now we have full global presence of the New Athens, global correspondence around the world. Is that a cat or a child? Did you have a kid?
My cat.
Ah, okay. Yes. Hey. And now it's a cat video. Now it's a YouTube cat video, which is going to get so much more hits. We're very happy. So, Laura, tell us, it doesn't look like you're under martial law. What's happened in New York?
Well, I think that we have curfew still, and which is
Federal. So it's not based on New York's. Oh, because there's so much going on in so many different states.
I mean, it's crazy. I think it's unprecedented across
Yes.
the board. People have forgotten all about the hornets.
Yeah, and what about the plague? Is there still plague, or is that not existing anymore?
No, I think the hornets just are flying through, but no one pays attention because everyone's, COVID here, racial protests there, everything.
Okay.
Why do I see your fingers so close to the camera?
Because the
It's
camera is in the base of this this laptop. I don't know how to do that. The camera is in the base of that, so it's coming up into my chin. It's really very
Is that
flashy.
why we have a little bit
don't
of a
know
horror
how
show,
to turn it down, Oliver.
like a angle?
That's why it's kind of coming up. I don't know if it's somewhere here. So we've just got a little technical issue, but so Laura, so you've retreated to the country.
I did.
What's going on in town? Are there people there still? Have they all hidden?
Yeah,
We've seen
people are there.
we've seen
People are going
terrible
to the rallies.
we've seen
People are
terrible
quite
footage
active.
of looting on in all the stores. People.
Yes, so that's other elements of it. So I think some people are genuinely taking to streets to express, need for change, especially in racial dynamics and capitalist dynamics.
Yeah.
And then other group of people would naturally see that as an opportunity to go and do some full-on organized theft
Yes.
crime. So Soho, obviously, with very high-end stores such as Chanel, Louis Vuitton, have been kind of heavily invaded, or people are trying to loot those stores
Yeah.
for what I would imagine is going to be some, profit down the line when they sell the products. It's unfortunate because I think it's kind of giving a different flavor to what, generally speaking, had been peaceful protests. Another mystery is piles of bricks finding themselves mysteriously kind of ready and waiting at the places of protests.
Yes, I saw some pallets of bricks that have been put.
Yes, it's
in
very
various
curious. And it's curious who owns those companies.
Well, I mean,
Like-
the key at the moment is the Rod Rosenstein testimony in the Senate about a quickfire hurricane and the Mueller investigation and how they signed off on FISA warrants to wiretap the Trump campaign. He's now having to admit that he lied, that he falsified these documents right at the start, and so that's a big distraction. He's been trying to avoid going to the Senate. Hillary Clinton's trying to avoid going to the other Senate committee, and so now we have massive stoking of tensions across America, mainly to disrupt these Senate testimonies, which I think is really, really dark. Is there still like a lockdown based on the plague, or is that just totally moved aside now?
Well, in theory, Lorenzo, there is, but if you have a look, there clearly is not. So I think it's the weirdest situation where we've gone from one extreme to the other without any official blessing, or I think that they're trying to prevent, or like we're on a verge, or there has been, it could have been easily become a civil war, but I think they're tolerating people gathering like this. That's what needs to happen. That's what's going to happen next. But no one is talking about this for sure. That technically, yes, we still have a lockdown until the 16th. So no one should be gathering en masse. No one should be, obviously together. And people are ignoring the curfew as well, because there have been marches past 8 o'clock. But I think that there's a kind of a discourse now going on that no one is commenting on openly, where people are starting to do more what they want as opposed to what they're told, and you can see that quite clearly.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've had legal tests in this country over the lockdown, and it's been quite clearly thrown out, not of court, it's been thrown on appeal, which is we featured in the last show with Marie Dinu, the woman who stripped naked and humiliated both the English and the Scottish authorities in terms of detaining her and trying to find her. The magistrates and the Crown Prosecution Service and the British Transport Police were all in the wrong. And actually, if you listen to what Boris Johnson is saying now with the contact tracing, this new kind of 1984, that actually he's saying, well, it is advisory. You don't have to, if you get called up by the spies, you don't have to isolate yourself, but we think it's your civic duty if you do. So they're realizing now that they don't have those powers which they were trying to assert they did. And there's probably, I don't know, there's more martial law framework in the States, with the National Guard and with the state of emergency laws and so on. So they will have more powers. But this
tracing and contact tracing is another interesting debate where it's happening in a way. So, for example, if you get sick or someone got sick, they will ask who they have seen in the recent period of time. No, actually, the person did not get sick. I beg your pardon. He had to. He was pushed by his firm to get tested in order to be able to go back to work.
Yeah.
And that resulted in him testing positive, having never had the symptoms. Okay?
Yes.
Then he was asked to report who he had seen in that period of time during the lockdown, which he said his mother-in-law and I guess his spouse, obviously, and the mother-in-law's husband, so father-in-law, and then those people started to have phone calls from the,
Overfloweth.
you know, from the, I guess, testing centers or the hospital that were trying to get them. Actually, I don't think the person responded, so we don't know what they were trying to achieve. But either way, people are asked to share contacts further.
Yes, they're asked to rat on people, and I know when Cuomo set up a first level ratting on your neighbors if they leave and so on, people were sending it cockpits. They were completely giving the middle finger to the idea of snitching on their neighbors in New York. And so we're yet to see how they fare now and how they fare in Britain, whether the British are more docile and domesticated than the
Well,
second.
I don't know, and I also don't know how we're going to potentially avoid, the app, because I have seen on someone's wall that if someone downloads the COVID app, so to speak,
Yeah.
automatically they have access to everyone's details in that person's.
Oh, they can
contact.
So you need Bouncer, but firstly, do not download the app, people. Do not download
Well,
the app.
obviously.
Don't go
obviously.
with contract tracing. This is tyranny by another name. They're trying to establish this Chinese social credit system using the plague as a vector to get all of our information feeds with our acknowledged consent. They still take the information, and as we were talking about before, use their big data analysis to follow us and track us in many ways. What they want to do now is they want our explicit consent, in the same way as with the masks, with the muzzles. Like you muzzle a dog to domesticate it, but this is another level of psychology. It's and social engineering. This is like making you mask yourself, and then you come in and say you want to come.
Well, yes, I guess it's a sign of silence.
Yes, and so
it's
so
also,
on the
I think it's
15th
also
of June.
dehumanizing.
On the 15th of June in Britain, they are trying to make it illegal to travel on public transport without a mask, and so, but this is
Like forever.
yeah. Well, so as we mentioned last show, there's more and more regulations coming in, despite them saying that the consent of the lockdown has changed. So this is the device that I have that I got from eBay. So this is what you actually need to prevent like any kind of ventilation issue. This is like an hour's worth of air, and I carry this around now because why carry this stupid little surgical things? Like this is an hour's worth of air with like a proper face mask, and then you have like your emergency like fire gloves and so on. This is like to get out of a burning building. And so this is the level of tech plant you need to be carrying around in your backpack to actually not infect people with plague or be infected. And so what we're seeing is this is silly papery masks. This is what you need, people. Like go on the trains with this, and that really scared them. But that's just a little bit of plug for a bit of prepper activity.
Well, what I don't understand, and I'm not sure that we're clear on this, is that on the 16th, I don't know the date in the UK, I believe the kids had gone back to school, but on the 16th here, the lockdown goes up, at least for the first wave of, return to work. What does that mean? Does that mean that we can overnight stop wearing the masks, or is it no longer infection? Now people are protesting, they're gathering together. It's true that most of them are wearing the masks and they're kind of obeying that rule, which I don't know. I think people wearing bandanas and masks when they're going protesting or one group against another is dangerous. It's dehumanizing.
You're quite right. Funnily enough, the first pandemic event, the plague, the first distraction event that we're experiencing is a mask-based event, which then leads on to the Black Bloc, to the Antifa anarchists, then taking over the streets, which have been emptied with the cock-down of all the bourgeois middle-class people shutting themselves in their homes. And then the streets are taken over. That power vacuum is filled by the Black Bloc anarchists, who, of course, are wearing masks. And so you've then got this notion where it used to be in the normal world that if you wear a mask, you're an oddity. And also you can be against the, like in France, it's against the law to cover your face in the street. You need, as part of their republic, their citizenship, they say they need to have eye contact. They need to have, that's why they banned the burqa and so on. And they don't let you wear like motorcycle helmets indoors. But now, of course, we're in a position where normal law-abiding people are expected to have their faces covered. So now we have this rebalancing where then the black bloc, the anarchists don't look odd because of the previous event. And so you're right, that gives more impunity.
I think it's also, you know, it's a very divisive tool as well. So you immediately know, in a way, who stands for what, who believes what.
Yeah, it's a political.
Who, you know,
it's a political marker. As I say, that the muzzling is saying, I submit. You know, I'm. You know, please, Daddy, like determine my reality. I want to be programmed. It's like it's the download script for a lot of the programming that's going to come. Is like, do you submit to X, Y, Z contortions of your normal common law life in these, you know, places like Britain, France, and America, which have strong these concepts. You know, even if they're not articulated by people particularly, they live that way, and now they're being deprogrammed and reprogrammed to live a different way, which is much more stand and deliver. Where are your papers? What's your justification? You know, have you corresponded to all of these different legislation tools to keep you?
Well, you know, it's a little bit scary because
determined.
I think the fact that it happens tiny bit by tiny bit, so people don't realize the coercion of